Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. Can you believe first of all? Did you know it? Did you remember? Did you forget the date? Did you forget the date? It's tomorrow. Yeah, it's going to be doing another Q&A video leading up to The Walking Dead Season 6's premiere, which of course premieres tomorrow night. And the first one for this one is going to be me giving my thoughts on a new article. This one's from Cinema Blend, and it's about The Walking Dead Season 6's finale. It says, why The Walking Dead Season 6 finale was a nightmare for the cast. It says here, I quote from Andrew Lincoln, it said, I felt sick to my stomach when I read the script. It was the first day in the whole 6 years of working on The Walking Dead that I was late for work because I woke up in the middle of the night and I couldn't get back to sleep. I was so angry and frustrated, and I felt sick. That was just after reading it. Awesome. And then we have, oh my God. Okay, that says, okay, so if just reading the script was hellish, actually filming the Season 6 finale was probably not a walk in the park either. Luckily, other Walking Dead lead, Lauren Cohan, really went out of her way to explain how atrocious shooting the episode was, telling Entertainment Weekly it was, quote-unquote, the hardest. So the word finale gives me a physical reaction because it's the hardest day on set that I've ever had in my life. I never even imagined that as an actor you could have that experience. It's one of the most raw experiences that I think any of us have ever had. Andy talks about being late to work. I didn't want to go to work on that day. It took a really, really long time for everybody to feel okay after the finale. Let's put it that way. Oh, man. So it's going to be good. So this half should be awesome because, of course, tomorrow night's episode is going to be a big one. We know the spoilers, so it's going to be great. And then, of course, the finale I'm just so stoked for. Maybe it'll be my favorite episode ever. There was somebody who posted Trev's top 5 after this season. And, I like that comment. I should have recorded it so I could read it to you guys. But basically, yeah, No Way Out should be in the top 5. I mean, it should be incredible. And then the season finale could be contender for the biggest episode ever. I mean, if it goes down the way we're theorizing it might go down, it could be the biggest death in the entire series and the biggest I've ever seen in a TV show, period. That would include shows like Game of Thrones, which, by the way, have a video coming up in the next hour. Game of Thrones pictures for Season 6 of Game of Thrones. So I almost think they like to counter-program Walking Dead. Whenever Walking Dead's about to premiere, they release something. Walking Dead finale comes up, or when big things are happening, they release like trailer and stuff. There should be a trailer for that hitting soon, by the way, for those of you guys who subscribe for Game of Thrones. Be reviewing it again this year, of course. Obviously. So I just wanted to read that article with you guys. Check it out yourself. Link will be in the description. Man, it just sounds like the finale is going to be the episode to beat. And really, really tough on them, it sounds like. So the tougher it is on them, the better it's going to be for us, I think. One way or another. Okay, first question is from Terron. I guess it's, right. He says, I'm a guy and you always call me a girl. Sorry, brother. He said, wanted to ask you something that always bothered me in the early issues of the comics. There is so much snow, and I live in Alabama, which is right beside Georgia, and we never have that much snow here. LOL, love the videos. Would love to hear your thoughts on this. Well, come on, dude. I don't think Kirkman puts that much effort into some of the stuff that he writes. I mean, okay. He's got a lot of projects going on. He's got so much stuff going on, and he's so talented that I think sometimes he doesn't think through all the details of every single little thing. So, I mean, okay, all right, maybe you're right. Maybe there's never that much snow where they would be in terms of the real world. But, it's just one of these things. He's got to get the issues done. With comic books, they release them every month. For over 10 years, right? So he's constantly doing that. He's constantly writing. He's got other stuff he's doing, and he's releasing. So, yeah, I mean, they may not be perfect in that. And sometimes he jokes about how he just, makes up these things. And it's just like, oh, yeah, we just put in some zombies, and we do this and that. And he's joked a lot of times about, how little effort he put. I'm sure he puts in a lot of effort, but in Walking Dead. But, there's going to be little things like that no matter what. People can point out stuff in the TV series, like where you have certain cars that shouldn't be released at that time, like newer cars than should be available in the zombie apocalypse. So, that should be out at that time. Whatever, it is what it is. Next one's from Mark from the UK. He says, Trev, I just watched your Negan will kill Daryl theory video, and my thoughts are that AMC are doing everything they can to make us all think Daryl will be the one who's killed off, and diverting everyone's attention away from the fact that they will follow the comic books or someone other than Daryl. If he was really going to be killed off, the actors themselves would not be dropping the hints. AMC wouldn't allow it. Of course, I could be wrong. Love your videos, Mark. Well, let's get something straight, Mark. The hints are not. I don't think the hints are on purpose. I think it's like the one I use with the Kenny thing, right? I thought about that in the video. I was like, well, what do they mean by that? Like, okay, here's the thing. It's like an inside joke, right? There's lots of inside jokes between people. Friends have inside jokes, and you may not be able to read it from the outside. So maybe they could mean something else by Kenny. Pretty much Kenny already. Pretty much dead already. I love it. So I just felt like, it makes sense. Plus, also, Norman Reedus is going to have another show on AMC starting next year, which is going to be called Ride with Norman Reedus. So, there's a lot of stuff coming up. Now, could it all be, he's busy, obviously. He's done a lot of stuff. Season 5, he was in 999, and I think he's playing like one of the main villains in that, like the big bad in 999. And so, he's got other projects going on too. It doesn't necessarily mean he's going to be killed off. It's just that a lot of the signs right now point to that. Now, could it be kind of misdirection and stuff like that? Is Gimple messing with us? He could be. He likes to do that stuff sometimes. He did it with Morgan last season, right? Because before Morgan appeared with the wolves, he had a zombie that was like, or body parts that matched Morgan before the episode. So if you're watching it carefully and watching the episode in great detail, you're seeing body parts that match Morgan, but then Morgan survives. So you could be right. All signs could point towards Daryl, and then Daryl could survive. And I hope that's what happens, because you guys know he's one of my absolute favorite characters in the entire series, and they could be talking about somebody else. So, it could be a tough episode to film for anybody. Some people think maybe Negan will kill Carol. It's just predictions at this time. We don't know for sure. We can come up with theories. They might make sense. They might fit. They might not. But you don't know for sure until you actually see the episode and that, unless it's spoiled, which this one has not been, thankfully. All the spoilers sometimes get a little annoying, because it's like fun to try to figure out who's going to be killed off and then be surprised when it actually happens. And if it's all ruined for us, like the episode coming up, then it isn't as exciting as it would be if we didn't know. Sometimes it's better not to know, right? But you're absolutely right, Mark. Maybe it's just everything seems to be going that way, and they'll go a different way. And I hope you're right, because I like to see Daryl survive onwards. It's just that, that's like I analyze all the footage, I analyze everything, and make as best videos for you guys as I can. And that's what I've been seeing, in the stuff, intentional or unintentional. So, it is what it is. Anyway, but you're right. They could be misleading us entirely, and they've done it before. And they've done it with trailers, right? So they've done a lot with trailers, so it's possible. Next one's from Zombify Monkey, and he says, hey, Trev, when Daryl met Dwight and Always Accountable, Daryl said, you're going to be. Yeah, that's a good point, right? He says, when Dwight said, I'm sorry for taking his crossbow and bike. Do you think Daryl will meet Dwight and kill him, and that's why Negan may kill Daryl? No. So I don't think so. I mean, but you're right about that too, is that him threatening Dwight or telling him that he's going to be sorry, unless it's something that he never fulfills later on, because if Daryl's killed off first before he can make Dwight pay, or he can do something to Dwight, maybe he can capture Dwight and beat his ass or something, and later on they have to release him or something. So maybe we'll see something like that happen, but it seems to me like Dwight has a lot of changing to do. We're getting to see an earlier version of Dwight, which is going to change and evolve a lot over the course of the series to become his comic book series counterpart. Right now, he's not near where he's at in the comic book series, or even when we meet him in the comic book series, even physically he doesn't look the same. So he's got a lot of changing to do. Would I like to see Daryl get his revenge on Dwight? Yeah, I would like to see it. But he's kind of a nice guy too. So is he going to kill him in cold blood if they meet again, that kind of deal? It's still kind of tough to say. Unless it's in like a battle scenario, then yeah, he will, of course. But if he's got Dwight, he may not necessarily kill him right off the bat, even though he stole his crossbow and bike. But Daryl likes his bike and his crossbow, so it's tough to say. He might be tempted to, but I don't think he'll actually kill him. No, I don't think Daryl will kill Dwight, to answer your question. Next one's from Jonah, and he says, hey, Trev, don't usually message because I view on mobile, but was wondering if you saw The Walking Dead issue 150 was the highest-selling comic of January. It even beat the Secret Wars finale, which is a Marvel book, a big Marvel crossover book. And I figured it would make a good video topic. I've been watching your channel since season 2. Keep up the great work. Thanks, Joni. I recognize your name. So that's awesome to hear. 150 was the highest selling comic of the month, which is amazing because Image is independent. It's probably because all the variants they released for Betrayed in that, and the cover looked really cool. The variants were awesome. I'm happy to see that, man, because I love seeing The Walking Dead be successful. I think it's one of the best written series of all time. I think that Kirkman is probably going to inspire a lot of other writers and comic books to say, you know what, I'm not going to sell out. I'm going to do my own thing. I'm going to release it over a long period of time, release a great story, and the quality will force people to pick it up, even though it doesn't have a Marvel or DC tag on it at the top left, or bottom left, wherever they put them nowadays in Marvel and DC. And, quality should trump, quality should trump name or brand, right? The quality that you release should trump just having a Nike swoosh or whatever you're going to have on there. So that's my thoughts, and I'm really happy to see that it was such a big seller, and I hope The Walking Dead continues onwards. I hope 200 is the number one seller as well that month too. I know the trades, the collectible volumes, sell really well, and it's good because it's a story that it's got meaning to it. It's not just switching writers all the time and you just can't, if you want to buy let's say you want to collect X-Men or Batman or Avengers or Justice League or whatever. It's hard to pick what are you going to buy because there are so many different writers that have worked on it over the last, maybe 80 years. In some cases, like Superman and Batman and stuff, old school, right? They've been around since the 40s or even in some cases earlier. Depending when was Superman created, 20s or something, 30s? I don't remember. I've read it before, but I don't remember. So to see a writer come on and just go through and release an awesome series like that through 150 issues is amazing. It's something that I really hope we see more of in the future rather than them switching and giving up these properties all the time. It's kind of disappointing. So anyway, those are my thoughts on that. We'll do a couple more. Not Astronaut says, hey Trev, question here. Do you think the chances of Morgan to meet Lucille are higher than that of Daryl? Morgan was such a disappointment this season. One thing I'm glad to see is that I'm not the only one who feels so. You agree with me in that regard, which is cool. Some people don't, but that's cool. That I don't see him not only in the group, but in Kirkman's universe at all. He's too simple-minded as a character. Daryl, on the other hand, can still be developed, not even mentioning fangirls and merchandise profits. Yeah, I agree with you that I would rather see Morgan be killed off at the end of the season than Daryl if they got to pick one. But and you're right about that. Long term, it may not be good for the series to kill Daryl off. I was thinking about that. I was like, if they do kill Daryl, it probably wouldn't be good for the series in the long term. He's a great character to have, just like a Rick, who you can have to lead a few episodes. Like if Andrew Lincoln, needs some time or whatever, Norman Reedus, he can do 3 or 4 episodes as maybe the leader of a field group or something, something like that. Like we're seeing from Dwight now in the comic book series, where he's going to probably move into that role. So, yeah, man, it does feel like Morgan does not fit in Kirkman's universe. I agree with you; he is too simple-minded. But I think he's gonna change. I don't think he's too far gone in that way. And I hope I'm wrong about the Daryl thing. I hope that it's not Daryl. It just seems like everything is pointing to that. So again, it could be misdirection. And we'll do one last one. This one's from Morgan Jones. He says, hey, Trev, love your videos, and I have a question for you and Q&A. Do you think that since Glenn, while he was... so during the Death in the comic book series, you have a character that yells something out, yells another character that he cares about's name. I won't spoil. But if in the TV series, if Daryl is killed off, who do I think he would yell out for? I would say probably Rick or Merle, one of the two. I would think so. I mean, who is Daryl closest to if he was killed off? Or Carol, he says here. That's a good call. I think it should be Rick, but Merle makes sense too. That makes a lot of sense too. It'd be even good if they could somehow get Michael Rooker to show up and do. He might be down because he's been really good about that, where he's gone off the show, he's come back for hallucination, he's come back for a season, and then he's left again type deal. So he's pretty good about that, and I'd love to see them maybe use him if they were going to do that. That'd be really a smart way to go, really intelligent way to do it. But Rick makes sense too. Rick would make sense too. If we see it. Again, we don't even know for sure if we're going to. like you said, it could be misdirection, like the person earlier said. So anyway, I'll call it here for today's. Of course, we'll do another video tomorrow with you guys leading up to it. We'll do an expectations video tomorrow. I'll give my expectations on what I expect to see from the second half, and some stuff that I want them to include, and hopefully they will. We'll see how it goes. So can't wait for tomorrow night. Of course, review will be posted as soon as I get it up Sunday night. As always, as usual, predictions for the next week. You guys know the drill by now. Same thing as the last 6 years, 5 years. And if you like this video, please thumb it up below. Please don't forget, guys, thumb it up. I appreciate it. Share, fave, and if you're new and you want to sub, please subscribe at the bottom left. I appreciate everyone who subscribes. I appreciate all your guys' support. You guys are awesome. You're the best. That's it for this video. I'll see you guys again tomorrow. As always, it's Trev. I'm saying peace. See you guys.